Ticina, we're recording, and Ticina dropped off. Of course. Hello, everyone. I am Erica Kessie. I am the Nashville chapter of Startup Grind director. And let me get Ticina back in here just a moment. There we are. I have a co-director. Her name is Tiara Briscoe. Her business is T Briscoe Consulting. My business is Your Goal Concierge, and those two businesses power the Nashville chapter of Startup Grind. And we have the entrepreneur experience that happens every the last Tuesday of every month. We have wonderful entrepreneurs come in and share their story. I'm so excited to hear your story because you're going to inspire people today. And I cannot wait to hear how you're going to inspire people. There are people out there right now who, listen, entrepreneurship is hard, and they're out there on their last leg, and they can't wait to hear from you all to know how you did it. How are you being successful today? So I want to get right into it. First, let us go around and introduce ourselves. Give us that powerful introduction. We're going to go Jamar, Ticina, and Janelle in that order.
That sucks. You're not gonna allow me to be a gentleman and let the ladies go first?
Oh, you know what, Jamar? You know what? I thank you for bringing that up because that kind of goes into this month. This month is actually Startup Grind's Women's Month. So yeah. I appreciate you saying that because yes, be a gentleman and let the women go first. Okay. So then we'll go to Cena, okay, Janelle, and then Jamar.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ticina Williams. I am the owner of Creativiti Custom Designs and Events and Event Planning Consulting and Party Supply Company based in Chicago. And I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you so much, Ticina. Janelle?
Hi. So thank you, Jamar, for being a gentleman and letting the ladies go first. It is an honor to be here. And my name is Janielle. I go by the name of J. Marie. I'm founder of J. Marie Premium Sneakers, which is a premium sneaker brand conceived in Detroit, handcrafted in Italy. And you can definitely check us out. I'm excited to be here and talk with you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Amazing. Jamar.
No problem. And I'm definitely want to meet you, Jay Marie, about your sneaker brand. That sounds dope.
Awesome.
I am Jamar Washington. Everybody calls me my name, Jay Haleem. I run Jay Haleem LLC, but I am a what you call a multiple entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur, and I'm a 4-time author, business coach. Been in entrepreneurship for 20 years. Right now, I'm in the space where I just help other entrepreneurs become great.
Wow, look at these heavy hitters today. Yes, I'm so excited. Okay. So let's get into the first question for the panel discussion. The first question is, and I want you to just really give it to us. Give us the tea. So give us about 3 to 5 minutes of how and what has happened in your entrepreneur journey. What has been your experience? So I'm going to let Janelle go first, and then Ticina, and then we'll do Jamar.
Okay, perfect. So actually, my journey started with the diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. In high school, you could not find me dead in jeans or gym shoes. So it's funny that I even started a sneaker brand. I thought it was masculine, but as I got older and began to experience the symptoms from that illness of multiple sclerosis, I wanted to begin to dress more comfortably. Of course, I could not wear heels anymore. So I started to venture off and try different brands to try to find gym shoes that would fit my style. And I couldn't find anything. I'm a girly girl. I wasn't into the Jordans or, other things that people are into. Nothing wrong with those things, but it just didn't fit my style. Everything I was finding was either too masculine, childish, or too athletic. So I'm like, hey, where is the brand for me? And I couldn't find it. So I decided to start my own brand. And here we are.
Oh, okay. So thank you so much for saying that because guess what? I'm like, wow, because I'm a girly girl as well, and I don't wear sneakers. Okay. And it's probably because they're not as feminine as I would like them to. Give me a ruffle,
Yeah.
okay?
I
Give
mean,
me
you
a
can't
bow.
wear
You know what I'm saying?
Jordan. Yeah, you can't wear. Imagine what you have on now, and you want to dress down. You can't wear Jordans with what you have on now. But what you can wear is premium sneakers that are made of leather with a little hint of red that matches what you have on, and it can go. It can be dressed down. It can be dressed up, and you can be comfortable. So it's definitely for women like that, professional women, women who love to dress up.
Okay, wonderful. And I just want you just to go a little bit deeper with your story. Like, tell us more about that. Like, how,
Sure.
like, I know you gave us the why, the why behind your
Mhm.
brand and behind your business. But tell us about some times that were difficult and how you persevered.
Sure. So very early on, it was difficult because for starters, I was getting a lot of flack from people around me. Like, well, you can't start a sneaker brand. There's already brands that are already monopolizing on the market. And, nobody ever started a brand. Look at all the major basketball players or rappers or people in, just in general who are more well known than you who started sneaker brands and they weren't successful. So what makes you think that you can start a sneaker brand and be successful? And I got that very early on, just at the concept, like just telling people my idea. And I think that's why I'm cut out for this journey because I've always kind of been a person who I don't follow people and I don't listen to what people say and I don't let what people say deter me off of my journey. So it was like they said that, but I was just like, yeah, that's them. That's not me. Maybe you revere that person as whatever you revere them as, and they may not have been successful for whatever reason, but that's their story and that's them. That's not me. So I never took what other people said and used that as a indicator of, well, maybe I'm not supposed to do this because everybody is saying it's not going to be successful. I was using it as fuel as, I'm gonna show y'all why. Okay, watch this. Like you guys keep saying I can't do it. I'm gonna show you a thing or two. And it kind of just grew from there. But I was getting so much support when everybody started seeing it come together and seeing like, okay, she's serious about this. And, I was able to garner support from those around me. And that kind of catapulted or gave me enough fuel to keep going when things were slow. When there were tough times, sneaker industry is very male and sports dominated. So being a female and then on top of that, a female of color kind of limits me in a lot of ways. But I look at it as a way to have a new conversation and bring to the forefront those things that need to be discussed to change the industry. So I'm definitely excited about that.
Oh my word, we have a trailblazer right here. And we're going to have these naysayers. Man, I know that both Jamar and Ticina understand that experience. Somebody said you couldn't or maybe you shouldn't or want to whisper those things in your ear and you have to be an entrepreneur, you can't be listening to nobody but yourself.
Right.
But
That's so
yourself, because yourself got the answers. Yeah, yeah. And
true.
then sometimes you even get hooked up with like coaches and influencers that are like supposed to be, leaders in your life that say that you're not supposed to do this thing. But don't let anyone consult yourself. It's really important to do that. And I'm saying this because I'm a licensed professional counselor. It's always going to come up in this bad boy and in everything that I do because I'm telling people, hey, you have the answers. Don't let anybody deter you from your vision, from your mission. And it sounds like you're on fire for your
Yes.
mission. And honey, I got to figure out how I'm gonna get me some sneakers. Okay. Is there anything else that you wanted to say about your journey?
Sure. I do want to share that it is not easy. It definitely is not easy. And that was one of the things that I was excited to share with you guys, and talk to about other people that's out there that's aspiring entrepreneurs or currently entrepreneurs and going through a rough patch and feeling like, oh man, does this mean I should stop because everything is going bad? But that's one of the things that you have to realize. Things that are, Jamal, you mentioned earlier that you're the fruit. sometimes it takes a lot to get to the fruit. You know what I mean? And a lot of people give up before they even bear fruit. And a lot of times they think if the journey is not easy, sometimes it's not meant for them. And that's not true at all. In fact, the journeys that are meant for you are going to be the hardest because they're meant to build character. They're meant to pull things out of you that you didn't know was there, or create things in you that you needed to be able to grow into this new person. And you're not going to do that on an easy path. So don't let hard or rough patches make you feel like something is not for you, because that may be the thing that is an indicator it is for you, because nothing worth having is going to be easy to obtain. So stay on the path, keep going, and when it gets hard, get tougher and just keep going.
Yes. Thank you so much. So inspiring. Thank you. Thank you. So
You're welcome.
Ticina, tell us about your journey. How has it been your experience with being an entrepreneur?
So my experience has been quite a journey. That is a perfect way to describe it. So it has been filled with some challenges, some learning experiences, but also it has also developed something within me that lets me know that I am resilient, and I am determined, and that I am capable. And so for me, I actually started my business after taking a couple of paper crafting classes on a whim. I was in undergraduate school, uh, pursuing a business management degree. And I really thought that I would open up a consulting practice and I would do income taxes, because I also am run a small business preparing income taxes. And right, my junior year, I was not able to take summer classes, and I'm a person that likes to do things. And so one of my coworkers told me about some crafting classes at the local crafting store, and it sounded like something. I'm like, okay, my ideas got to flowing, and I really didn't consider myself a creative person at that time, but I'm a mother, and so I have three sons, and so I started to think, about birthday parties and different experiences I created for my children. And I said, well, I'm going to take those classes. And so my sister was here on her summer break from college as well. She would always stay with me during the summer. And I said, listen, I'm going to go take these classes after work. If you go with me, I will pay for your supplies and, just come. So she's like, okay. And so I went to the class. We learned how to make envelopes, and bags and little things. And I wasn't particularly good at it in the class, but when I got home, I could not go to sleep because I was up thinking about all of the things that I could make and what I could do. And that is what kind of unlocked my creative side and started my journey of building an event planning business. Now, where the challenge came in is that, again, I went to business school and graduated about 10 years ago. A lot of people wanted to know, well, what are you going to do with that business degree? What's that? What do people do with it? Like what kind of job can you get with that? And fast forward now, everybody has a small business, a side hustle, something going on. And so it was very hard initially because nobody saw the vision. They were like, you're, planning parties for a living. What is that? That's not serious. I've had people tell me, that nobody funds event planners. You're not going to get any funding, or you won't, that's not really scalable. And or even say that the name of my company, Creativiti, the way that it is spelled is spelled with an I instead of a Y at the end. But my name is Ticina. I am the T in creativity. And I had a business coach tell me she looked at it, that's stupid. People are going to think you can't spell. And I said, oh no. I said, no, they won't. And I explained to her what it was, and then she got it, and she apologized. But just those kinds of challenges, those kinds of things, those kinds of experiences, people not initially seeing the vision. But to J. Marie's point, I've always been a visionary. I remember being a little girl, imagining what my life would be like and what I wanted to accomplish, what I wanted my lifestyle to be. Now, I didn't necessarily see this, but I knew those things. And so I didn't allow people to discourage me from what I wanted to do. I didn't allow them, their thoughts, them not understanding. I will try to clarify for you what I can, but if not, then this is what it is. And I have been successful in building that. We have since evolved from just planning events to offering consulting services as a project manager. And I also am preparing to launch my own e-commerce store featuring my own original paper party supplies, featuring, of course, Black characters, particularly boys, because I have 4 sons. So boys ages 2 to 14, because that is where when I did go to Party City and all these places, I couldn't find representation of my 4 sons. And so so that is what my goal is now. So it has been a up, a down, a get beat down, but it is the most rewarding journey that I have ever been on. I literally can't believe that I started. I say this all the time. I started literally on my dining room floor with my sister, like with all these paper scraps around me. I was making stuff, and I even came up with my name with like a little rhyme. Me and my sister laugh all the time because we had no idea that it would turn into a living, breathing business with its own identity and continuing to grow. So that is what my journey has been like.
Wow. So inspiring, right? Right. Oh my word. I want to ask you, you said a business with its own identity. Can you
Yes.
talk more about that? Because I think that
So
a lot of
now,
people, yes.
yeah. So I am Ticina Williams, a professional, a business professional. I am a consultant, but Creativiti Custom is a living, breathing business. People know, especially people that are in my area, they know when they hear creativity, even if it's just used in the sentence, they think of my brand. And so it is totally separate from Ticina Williams. Creativity has its own identity. So it was a lot of hard work, but I'm happy to say that. And then one other thing I wanted to say too, that being a mom, I am a married mom, and I do have 3 older boys and 1 toddler. And so I get to start it all over again. The big boys kind of grew out; they don't want the parties and stuff. But the baby, I'm right back on brand with him. But just a lot of people thought that you're a mom, you work a full-time job, and then you're in school, and you aren't gonna be able to balance all of that. How do you do it? And so again, just I do make a lot of sacrifices. I do, and sometimes I don't watch as much reality TV, or I may have to binge watch it after the season. But that's just those are the concessions that I make to do what I got to do. Yes, I have
Wow.
a business and a personal brand.
Wow. 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 These jewels that have dropped, and then the fruit is on its way. Okay.
Yes.
So we can't wait for the fruit. Okay. We can't wait for the fruit.
They just got the treat.
I already know he got power to share. Okay. And we already look, they done set the stage for you. See how women esteem. We the neck, baby. You go ahead and be the head. All right. Go on. Go on. Your turn, sir. So tell us about your entrepreneur journey.
Wow, I'm gonna condense it because it'll take about an hour, but we're gonna abbreviate that thing. I'm probably older than everybody on here, but because I got out of college like 20 years ago, but I was what you would call a juvenile delinquent. I grew up coming up in the 80s in Newark, New Jersey. I grew up in a household where all the adults were strung out on drugs, and I'm the first grandchild. My grandmother adopted me after my mother left when I was 11. And my grandmother told me 2 years later that she was nothing she can do for me but give me a place to stay. So I turned to the streets. And so I still love school. I played ball, so that kept me going to school. But after school, I was on the street. I was shot at 14. I picked up a gun right afterwards. And, I did it to the max. And so I had a cousin who was teaching school, and I got arrested right before my graduation. I was actually in the county jail on my high school graduation, so I wasn't there to walk across the stage. So my cousin knew that I needed to get out of New Jersey, so he worked out a way to get me down to South Carolina to a college, and I was on the program. It was my first time being arrested as an adult. I got a few of them as a juvenile, but as an adult. So they gave me a slap on the wrist. I went to South Carolina to go to college, and applied the trade again. And that's why I became a felon in college. So again, I always liked school, never thought about dropping out, graduated on the dean's list, but I couldn't get a job because I was a felon. I had already been when I was doing what I was doing in the mix. I was already being a business owner. I had a restaurant and a club at 19. I used to drive from South Carolina to New York to go get clothes and fake bags and all type of stuff and come back to school and sell them. So it was already in me, but it wasn't social media at that time. It wasn't. I'm at a HBCU, so they're telling me, "You crazy? You going to graduate and get a job?" And I'm telling these people, like, I got a felony, and I got a background. They're not going to let me get a job, and they didn't want to hear that. And it was nobody. Entrepreneurship in those days was for the crazy people. It wasn't for the people who just had a vision. They didn't pay attention that you had to be crazy, especially you in school. And actually, you get out of college with a degree, you can get a job. Normally, it didn't matter what you had a degree. They was going to hire a person with a degree as opposed to somebody without having a degree. In those days, they didn't scrutinize degrees as they do now. And so, when I call myself the fruit, I'm telling you what the roots are right now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you what where the foundation was. But you don't see me yet. You don't see the fruit yet. You just see what's being laid. And so, like that Chinese bamboo tree that takes 5 years to grow, somebody's watering something that look like concrete. They're watering dirt for years before they actually even see anything. And that's what I looked like at that time. So graduating college, and again, I'm facing 10 years in prison pretty much through my whole time in college. I was told to drop out of college. I was told to get a job, get prepared to go do this time. But I applied to trade and I hit the streets and I actually beat the case. I mean, I was still a felon, but I didn't have to go away to prison. But once I beat my case and I got through with doing everything, I gave up the streets 100% while I helped my mother who left me kick her heroin habit. And at this point, I'm 23 years old. And so I couldn't go back to the streets. And so my side hustle or my front business for my successful drug dealing career was a cleaning business, which I took seriously at that time. And within a year's time, I turned it into a 6-figure company. And then I built it up until 2010 when the economy went crazy and my wife was working on Capitol Hill and we were living in Washington, D.C. at the time. And our fair president now, who was our vice president, his chief of staff was her boss, and he let her company go with 30 days notice. And so I had to sell the company and move back to South Carolina where it was a little bit cheaper. But I'm a felon. You know what I'm saying? I'm a felon. So, and DC is a lot more elaborate and, they understand a little bit more than country South Carolina. So now they got to throw that back in my face. So 10 years ago to the date, I was working for $8 an hour because that was the only job I would be able to get without somebody checking my background. And it's when I adopted J. Haleem, which is actually my, abbreviation of my name, J for Jamar, and Haleem is my middle name. Between that and it was a sex offender with my exact same name in the same state. And if you Google my name, and that'll come up. So it pushed me to change my name, and I created the company J. Haleem, which at the time was J. Haleem Photography because I picked up a skill as a photographer. Me being a solid businessman, I understood that I couldn't approach photography like everybody else. I couldn't just take pictures of, parties and weddings. So I went the corporate route, and I studied what it was needed in my area. So I started working with law firms, which led me to work with the mayor of the city. And working with him, we had in 2015, you guys probably remember the Emmanuel 9 shooting. Then we had a 1,000-year flood. And then the state of South Carolina finally took down a Confederate flag off the State House. Well, all those major events I covered with my camera. And that put me on the map when the mayor asked me to be his special photographer to focus on all of his things. And then I went into government contracting because another brother who worked for the city asked me, did I know anything about being certified to work with the government? I didn't, but I was obedient. And I listened, I got certified. And I worked with him So he took me from being certified with the city to the county to the state to federal. And I didn't know that the federal government pays photographers $500 million a year to do the work. And so they took me around to be that token poster boy who this black minority contractor who doing all this work across the state and now all our neighboring states as well. And so once that happened, it was my duty to help other individuals do the same thing. So it was my opportunity was presented itself because the city was going to lose their money because they wasn't helping enough minorities. So applying the trade, as I said, I was a party promoter. I had a club. I knew how to put people in the room. So I got over 150 minority businesses in the room that work with the city, and I got them all certified through the process. And that's where my mantra, I Won't Starve, turned into a company, I Won't Starve LLC, which was my second company. And so we started consulting the government, and we were the liaison between the government and minority contractors. To this date, we work with almost 700 businesses, and we help them get certified to do business with the government across the country. And then, I started speaking, and I became a speaker, but I didn't want anybody to tell me that I was worth getting paid to speak. So I created my own events so that I would speak, and I gave other individuals who had a story and a testimony like mine the opportunity to speak. Since then, I've been become an author. Of course, my first book is I Won't Starve, from $8 to six figures. My second book is You Won't Starve, which came out right around the same time as the pandemic happened. And this is what catapulted me being into a full-time consultant, because it wasn't all of the corporate people I worked with my camera was not taking pictures at that time. So I had already been doing enough speaking and training, so I started going all over the country virtually. And then when the world opened up, I got the jab, and people started flying me all over the country and the world to speak and train. And I've been doing that ever since then. But I found my love for writing, so I created Morning Motivation, which was my third book, Consistent Encouragement Through a Crisis, because I told everybody COVID is a crisis, but it was our first. It's not going to be our last, especially if you're an entrepreneur. And my last baby, Business Corner, what's really needed to survive the entrepreneurial fight. And that's just an homage to myself as being a coach and teaching individuals what you need, no matter where you are in your business. You need to have the right people in your corner. As you guys were saying, y'all had a lot of individuals telling you the wrong things. Well, as I say, you don't get rid of having somebody in your corner. Make sure you have the right people in your corner, because you haven't seen a professional player that doesn't have a coach or a trainer. And if you ever succeed, you got to have the right people in your corner. You might have to get rid of that wife or that husband or that family member for this business and get the right people there so you can succeed. Because the only reason why our businesses are not succeeding a lot of times is because we don't have the right people in our corner.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. You dropped so many pearls. I tried to put them down in the chat because y'all, yes, wow. You all have been amazing. And so I have one other question that I want you all to do. So I'm going to go back through. Okay. Janelle, as an entrepreneur, how has it affected you? And you can hit any of these and all of these: physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. How has it affected you? Because I think that a lot of people don't ask this story. Tell this story about how it affects you in all those different realms of your life.
Sure, absolutely. Well, first off, that was a beautiful, very inspiring story from both Jamal and Tashina. I think that, I mean, it's just awesome. I love hearing about people's stories, and it's just like, oh my goodness, you guys, the last story that you just told, Jamal, was a lot, and it was very inspiring.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for that. And as far as how has entrepreneurship affected me, I think it affects me in all of those areas. I would say, mentally, because when you are dealing with an illness such as multiple sclerosis that can cause different symptoms every other day. And sometimes I could be in and out of the hospital. Sometimes I'm not necessarily feeling my best. And sometimes that can even relate physically, and I'm not looking my best. And a lot of times, especially in a lifestyle business such as sneakers, you always have to be on. You know what I mean? So I would say that it affects me mentally like that because, sometimes when I don't feel like being on, you have to still be on for your business. And that's a lot to do mentally. So a lot of times you can be fatigued mentally. And to counter that, I always try to take as many breaks as I can. I always try to rest. And then, of course, with a creative business, it's not good to get into a space like that where you're not out and about and you're not doing things because you need to be around people and you need to be inspired all the time to create things. So sometimes isolating yourself is not a good thing. So that's a battle in itself, and that could be considered a mental battle. So those are how it affects me mentally. Spiritually, I always say that I wouldn't even be able to do this without a spiritual foundation. I think that everybody has to have a higher power that they go to be renewed, to be restored, to be given strength. And that's one of my superpowers, I always say, is that, I could go in my prayer closet and come out a new person restored. I can come out healed. A lot of times I'm not feeling my best. And then the next day I'm feeling on top of the world. So those are some ways that it can affect me mentally, physically, and spiritually. And then emotionally, you always have the back and forth. Am I doing a good job? Do I need to continue? Um, should I stop? Should I keep going? Or even sometimes it can get in between your relationship. Sometimes a spouse may feel like, all you care about is your business. All you're doing is business related stuff. Everything isn't about the business. And it's like, that comes with its own uh, own list of things. And it doesn't even have to be a spouse. It could just be with anybody. You could be out with a friend and you want to get some content for your business. So like, hey, we're eating dinner here. It's not about business right now. But people need to understand when you dedicate your life to building a brand, everything is about business for you. Everything is tied to your business. So it's almost like, I think we all kind of hinted on having those correct people in your life that can catapult you to the next level. And a part of having those correct people in your lives are having people around you that understand that. So a lot of times you find yourself attaching to people who are also business owners and entrepreneurs because they get it, they understand it. So I would say those are the things that affect me. And I'm pretty sure there's a slew of others, but just off the top of my head, that's what I can think of initially.
Thank you so much, Ticina. How has entrepreneurship affected you physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually?
So I would say physically and emotionally, entrepreneurship has been like a roller coaster ride for me. Um, or especially early in my journey, there were days that I would be all day without eating. I would be exhausted or getting up very early in the morning and going to bed very, very late at night. And so, that it can be exhausting in that way. But I've learned to find a balance. I've learned that I can't pour into any cups if my cup is empty. I've learned that my self care is important. And so just in those ways, it's affected me. But then mentally, it entrepreneurship has affected me because it has really built my strength, and helped me to build my resilience. It has helped me to learn to push through. I can be, I'm kind of like chill. Like I have my things that I fight for, and then some things I'm like, okay, it's cool. It's okay. It's not that serious. I'll just, reset. But entrepreneurship has really, for me mentally, really brought out that fight in me where, I'm like, I don't know. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I'm back at this tomorrow. Like, so that's why I laugh when Jay Haleem said, it was for crazy people. It's still for crazy people because sometimes I feel so crazy. It's just it's something I even look crazy depending on if I'm in that creative, space and what's going on during the day. I may even look crazy, but it has been a journey that has affected me, and I think for me spiritually, it has really increased my faith in God. God actually promised me this business, and I was like, you sure me? You choosing me? You sure? And he has been with me every step of the way. So spiritually, he has even also helped me find a deeper sense of purpose, because I realized early on I love to throw parties. I've always liked to host parties. I'm really big on hospitality, and things looking a certain kind of way. To J. Marie's point, I used to be one of those folks, don't touch this food until I get my photos, my content. I have stopped being like that now. I just go ahead and enjoy, y'all. I learned to get my pictures real quick on the fly and keep it moving. But it has just helped me spiritually, because I'm not motivated by money. And so there's a deeper sense of service for me. And even though I did not see myself on this journey of necessarily being an event planner or owning an event planning company, it is on brand with who I am. I started walking at 7 months old. At my first birthday party, I was at the door. My mother say this all the time, saying, "Hey, y'all, come on in." I have always been the host. And so it was just on brand.
Uh-oh. Looks like she'll be back. One thing that she said was, be on brand with who you are. So as I heard both all of you all's stories, it intertwined. Like, you can tell the essence of who you are as to the reason behind you doing the work that you do and how you're serving others. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to you, Jay Haleem, to tell us, how has entrepreneurship affected you physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually?
You know what? I don't think it affected me physically, um, because I think it's been my air, it's been my oxygen. Because when I didn't have anything, I was able to turn to. Now, from a spiritual perspective, I understood how to include God into it. Outside of that, like, that has been a consistent of my whole life. I've always been, and now that I'm a coach and I coach at a certain level, I really understand it scientifically, that I've been that person that's so even killed that I can go with whatever's going on. And being put in the fire at such a young age, and being that person out of, like, I graduated high school, the next 7 grandchildren didn't, right? So it was like, what was it about me that was willing to take it to the next level? Going to college and being told by lawyers and firing lawyers saying, "Hey, get prepared to go away to prison. You definitely going away to prison. Drop out of school." And I'm like, "This is the only reason why I came down here. I'm not dropping out. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go ahead and apply the skills I have and do what I need to do." And when I went to coming into business, it just got easier, because I'm like, I've been in the streets. I've done all this other stuff. I don't have that consequence in business. It's just somebody might tell me no. So what? I'm going to talk to 100 people. I'm going to talk to 1,000 people, and I'm going to go ahead and do what needs to be done. So it's been that oxygen and that air for me. It's been my friend. It's been somewhat of a gift and a curse, because it made me separate myself from individuals like she said, back in those days, and still to this day. I mean, even in my marriage, like, my in-laws didn't like my wife marrying an entrepreneur. They are straight up, I'm going to work and I need a paycheck. But now I'm their best friend. Like, they're the first people to comment on something I do on social media. Like, but me and my wife been together 23 years. So, and that was like the last 5 or 6 years. You know what I mean? So what about the other years of hell? And I mean hell. So because of what I'm doing, not because I beat my wife, not because she caught me cheating, not because of anything like that, because I didn't choose to be how you want me to be. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to be okay with being out on the island, being an entrepreneur. You got to be okay with not, your friends not understanding. Like, I was speaking to some young boys, and they all knew what they wanted to be. It was 4 of them. And the 4th one said he wanted to be an entrepreneur. And I said, you're going to be the one that need to borrow some money from them at first. I said, but y'all don't cut him off. I said, because in 10 years, he's going to have more than you. And don't look at him like that. I said, support him. He's going to be the one talking about business at the table when y'all out looking for girls. Support him. I said, because I had to tell him, because I remember being that person. There was people, hey man, you always talking about business. This is how I eat. This is how I breathe. And in my book, I said, it's you know, you got to talk about, they think about the money, you know, but I said, it's freedom over finance. That's one of my chapters in my first book, is freedom over finance. Yeah, it was times I didn't have money and I'm an entrepreneur and I was with my kids. But now that we're good, I'm still with my kids. I didn't have to sacrifice being away from my kids to be able to be successful financially. And that's because of what I embraced as an entrepreneur. I kept cutting the camera off because I'm putting on my gym clothes to take my son to basketball practice, you know, because I'm doing this. I have an office, you know, that I could be at, but I'm in place for my son, you know, and I never missed my daughter's functions. I was always there to go to her functions when I didn't have, and I'm still able to go when I do have, you know. So that right there I'm married to that. Like, I can't be nothing else. You know, it is what it is. I believe in jobs. It just wasn't for me because my life wasn't set up like that. I tell people to go get a job, but that don't mean that it's something that I can do. I'm not wired like that anymore.
Okay. Okay.
Who is right?
No, what I want to say is, let me just ask you: did you say you're married to freedom, or
no? I'm married to the business, like to entrepreneurship. Yeah, to entrepreneurship.
I just want to make sure I get your quote right, sir. I just want to make sure you get your quote right.
Yeah, that's what gave me my freedom, because nobody asked me. I mean, I applied for 3 jobs when I got out of college, and again, I'm on the dean's list. They hired me, but by the time my background came, they rescinded my offer letter. 10 years later, when I was about to leave DC, and I sold my business, had a little bit of money, I said, well, I'm in DC. I become a felon in DC. I'm going to apply for a job. Got hired, and they did the same thing. I haven't been in trouble since the time I told you guys I've been in trouble and I became a felon, but they still held that against me. When I decided to never go back, nobody ever asked me about my background, because I had a skill set that superseded any background that I had. And I've worked with the government on all sectors. I work with the military. I work with Save the Children. I work with Nike. I work with WNBA, the NBA, the NFL. I've been all over this world in business, and nobody said, do you have a background, when I decided to go this route?
Yes.
I think that's so interesting that you mentioned and said, a job, nothing's wrong with the job. I just can't do it anymore because I'm not wired like that anymore. And it kind of makes me think about what Ticina said earlier when she said that entrepreneurship has forced her to kind of like grow as this person, for lack of a better word. And I think that that's so awesome to point out that being an entrepreneur, it does wire you in a different way, because it's almost like once you reach that capability of what most people stop at, it's almost like you can't go back. Like you can't go back to working for somebody. You can't go back to just going back into that mundane life of a 9 to 5 and just kind of saying, you know, I'm gonna do this way. It's almost like you just cannot do it anymore.
Somebody's 9 to 5 is amazing. Somebody 9 to 5 is rocking. I've never seen that. I've never had a corporate or a career job ever in my life. But I see some people, and I tell them, they be mad at me, like, you've been in entrepreneurship, why are you telling me to work? I'm like, yo, you make $200,000 working your job. You good. You about to get a retirement. I've never had that. And so I can't act like you. I'm not going to tell you to be me, because this is hard. And if I love you, I'm not going to tell you to come over here. I don't see you built for this here, because I saw how you was looking at me sideways when I was down.
Right.
And you
come on, say that.
You will probably jump on the bridge, because people are dying to be where we are in entrepreneurship. Right. They're literally dying.
Yeah. And I like how you pointed out when you were mentoring the boys and you said, you know, hold on to that particular person, because that's going to be the person who, you know, is going to be able to have money to give back to you guys if they have to borrow initially. And I think that's another thing too, when you mentioned how does it affect us, is a lot of people, they don't see the vision. They never see the vision. And it's only until everything starts coming in motion that they're like, wow. And during that process, you might lose a lot of people, including relationships, because a lot of times they may not believe in what you're doing. They may say, look, you need to stop, even with your situation with your in-laws early on. They may say, you're not consistently bringing in money. You need to do something consistently. I don't have time to, we got bills coming in. You need to stop what you're doing, because let's not act like entrepreneurship is always going to be this, you're making money very early on, or you're always making money. It's ups and downs, and you don't have, with a job, you have security where, okay, you might not have sold anybody, but you're still going to get a paycheck. In entrepreneurship, if you don't bring the money to the table, the money is not on the table. So it's like you have to be prepared for that, because it doesn't just affect you, it affects those that you're responsible for, people that you went into partnerships with, whether it be a relationship or whatever your obligations may be. And sometimes that's a very difficult thing to navigate when you have a dream, a vision that you believe so wholeheartedly in, and a person can't see it, especially if things are not going right. And that could be tumultuous in so many ways in its own right. And that's something to navigate in entrepreneurship. So I'm glad that you pointed that out, because it's like, if you do have a person in your life like that, if you can, try to be the supportive friend and stay there, because you don't want to be a person that jumped ship before the ship got to the destination. Because it's like, nah, you can't get back on this ship. The doors is closed, the train has left, and we're not taking no more passengers. So definitely, if you have a person like that, try to understand what entrepreneurship is. It's not always going to be success right or early on. So don't think that because you don't see that person is just wasting time. No, everything that, like I said earlier, everything that is like a good thing, a great thing to have, is not going to be easy to get. But once you get it,
and that's why I call myself the fruit. That's why I refer myself to as the fruit, because everything before what you see now, nobody wanted to be bothered with. And so everybody walked past the tree, but if there's a bunch of nice looking fruit hanging up there, they go and grab it. But everybody, look, people piss on trees. You know what I'm saying? So keep it all the way funky, right? And they let their dog do it, and they do everything that they aren't supposed to do. People shoot at trees for target practice. People do everything that had to do with the trees, but they take care of the fruit. You know what I'm saying? And so I was everything else. I went through every process of that, and family members, everybody was like, whatever, until it started seeing like, oh, this is what he's been taught. And it is, he's been taught. I put a post up maybe 2 months ago, and it's saying from the curb to college to the court, from the curb to the courthouse to college to the corner office. And I had a picture of me in my office. It was 500 people commenting on that thing. And you should be surprised the people who know me most of my life is sitting there telling me something. Yeah, you always talked about this. You always talk. I'm like, so where was y'all? Because I would have got here 10 times faster.
Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
I would have got here 10 times faster. And I would have had less gray hairs. I wouldn't have stressed out. I wouldn't have had the eviction notices. I wouldn't have had the repossessed cars. I wouldn't have had none of that if y'all would have jumped on. I would still have friends that I don't have now, because I had the friends who left when it didn't look good. I had the friends who, I guess you don't want to loan me no money. Then I had the friends who was like, hey, you don't want me to be the person that had to loan you money now. So now you don't want to answer the phone because you messed up. But it was okay when I was messed up and I had to need you, but you don't want to need me.
Right. So and you know what? And another thing.
I just want to let me say one thing. I know y'all don't got into this conversation. And usually this lasts until 7:00. So I just want to tell y'all.
I can't hang. Oh, well, what's 7:00 is your time, right?
Yeah. That's it's 7:00 my time. You got to go.
5. Okay, cool. I'm sorry we went overboard on you.
Yeah. we all on different times because it's 8 here. So
I just want to tell y'all something. Y'all heard me say this is Nashville startup grind, right? And y'all like, why she don't have no Nashvillians on here? Mm. Let me tell y'all why. I'm just gonna be real with you. Nashville don't love me, so I left and went to Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I
Mm.
get people that immediately welcome me. They see my value. You sometimes you got to leave up out of the environment and
Yeah.
move to where you need to be. So that's why I have Startup Grind, where I have and what is a global platform. And so I talk to people from all over the country. And I love to show this to Nashville. Okay. And you all have represented today so well and talked about the pearls of how this is. Because this is not, y'all know, it's not for the weak. You got to be able to put on your big boy girl draws and come on and do this thing, or you're gonna be sitting somewhere looking crazy for years because you didn't do that one step.
I have to say this too before you end it because I think this is so imperative.
Go ahead, Janelle.
When you the another thing about being a dog as a person to be able to go on this journey of entrepreneurship, you can't be a person who wants to do things to prove points to people. And I brought that up because even for you to still be doing what you're doing, you're still in a sense giving back. And even
Oh
with
yeah.
what you were talking about, Jamal, or even Tashina, all of us had kind of connecting where we said people did this or people said this. It's also having a heart to still even go back to those same people who didn't believe when everything's popping now and still be able to pour into them and still be able to give to them and still be able to, even after people may say negative things, even like with you, people in Nashville probably didn't even want to be a part of it, but even just still pouring into that chapter, it takes a certain type of person to be able to, like you said, people do all kind of stuff to trees, but when the fruit grow, they're going to take care of that. But
Yes.
we're not inanimate objects. We're people, so we have feelings. So when people do those things to those us trees, you know, you still have to process, and that's a part of entrepreneurship too, is having a good heart. So
Yes.
I'll yield with that.
Yes.
I totally agree. I always say entrepreneurship is the most selfless thing that you can
Come
do.
on.
And also
You right there,
understanding
man.
that everybody that say they're an entrepreneur is not an entrepreneur.
Come on,
So
speak.
that's what actually muddies the water because everybody that got a side hustle is not an entrepreneur. So
Right.
they want to get the perks and they want to have that these conversations and get in this space, and that's not what they are. So when you become an entrepreneur, you understand that you get paid last, you paying people first. You might not get paid immediately. All those things is how that looks. You know what I'm saying? And then so when you don't have that, you don't really understand that. And we got to get those people because some people got to work. I plan on hiring people. I hire people. I don't start a business for me to do.
Yes.
So I don't need everybody to be an entrepreneur. Somebody needs to work, and I want to be the person to give you the job. So that's cool. And we got to keep that in mind when we talk about entrepreneurship because some people just are not fit for the conversation because they don't fit the profile of what an entrepreneur is.
Speak.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you as an entrepreneur must understand that you are here to build something in order for people to work so they can be in a better circumstance than you ever could have been. Because I know every job I've been in, honey, I show up, see situations, there's problems, show up, I end up having to leave because I'm pointing out things that's wrong in the circumstance and I don't feel safe. Okay, so I'm leaving. So I am building my own enterprise so that then others can come in and have a place. They can be with a business leader that actually do no harm to them, that cares about their well-being, right? And so that's what I'm seeing here. Like this is what an entrepreneur needs to be doing. You need to be thinking about the legacy of what you're offering to the world and how you do need individuals that can serve your business and your vision. I love that you keep talking about vision, Janelle, because that's exactly what some people who are out here, they just think they're good at some kind of some kind of thing, but they're not, their vision is not caught on fire. They don't have a vision, and the vision is where they're going far off in the future, and their business is just one mission that's on the road. So
Mm.
FYI, you heard Jay Haleem say he's an author, he's a coach, he's a this. These are all missions going down the road to his vision. Same for me. I have a lot of different pots, a lot of different things going, different visions going, missions going down the road to my big vision. And I know Ticina had a tax business and event planning, and you notice that that's what it's what I see, the nuance I see in entrepreneurs. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for saying that. I want to end though. I just want us to go around 1 minute and tell people how to contact you, and how to keep working with you or interacting with you. I see Jay Haleem already put an email up there for
That's my social media
or
handle.
social up there
Yeah,
for
that's
us.
my
Yes.
social media handle. I definitely want to connect with you ladies for sure. And this time, if you guys will permit me, because I got to step away, to let me go first and then go. But I definitely want to connect with you guys. You guys are doing some amazing things. And the shoes, sister, oh my God. Yeah, we got to talk about that. You know, you can help me. You make some money off me. But yeah, please, everything. I am Jay Haleem. That's me. You know, connect with me, my business. I mean, just put Jay Haleem in Google and I'll pop up, or I Won't Starve and that'll pop up. So yeah, let's connect. You guys follow me right now. I follow you guys back. And you guys have been a blessing to me. I appreciate the conversation. I didn't know what to expect, but it's definitely been dope.
Well, thank you for coming, even though you didn't know what to expect. I just want to share your story. That's all, because I knew it was going to be inspiring.
My assistant does that type of. She said, "I got something you got to be on. You got to be on." And I'm like, "That's what was going on," because she did all this stuff for me. I'm like, "I thought you had this set up already." So, and I'm supposed to be with my son, and I'm like, he looking at me crazy. I gotta take my son. Say hey to the lady. I gotta take him to basketball practice, and he looking at me like, "Look, you see, I done switched up and all that other stuff like that." So, thank you guys, and much love to you guys. Let's stay connected, please. And anything I can do to support you guys, by all means, that's what we're about. So, anything I can do. And a matter of fact, send me your email so I can email you guys a digital copy of my last book, Business Corner.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
much.
thank you.
I will make sure that we get the emails out, okay?
Yes, no
everybody
problem.
get connected. Thank you
You guys
so
have
much.
a blessed day.
Thank
God
you so
bless.
You
much.
too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. So, Ticina, I can't see your beautiful face. There you go. Okay. So, tell us how people can reach you and what's going on with
Sure.
you.
So you can find me on all platforms at Creativiti Custom Designs and Events, and that's CREATIVITI Custom Designs and Events on Facebook, Instagram, Google Business, Pinterest, you name it. And you can also find me by just googling me like Jay Haleem said, and I look forward to connecting with everybody. I want to say this conversation has been insightful, you know, because it sometimes the concept of entrepreneurship is tainted by social media, but I'm grateful to be here.
Thank you. All right, Janelle.
Hi, everybody. So you can follow me you will actually visit the website at www.jmariepremiumsneakers.com. From there, you can go to all of my social medias. You can see all of J. Marie in the media, all of my live interviews like this and more, and check out the line. So www.jmariepremiumsneakers.com, and you can get $30 off for your first pair for just signing up to be a part of our newsletter. I do send out amazing things and you hear about it first, so definitely check that out. And I really loved this conversation. Like Jamal, I didn't know what to expect either. And my mind is blown because I've just connected with like 3 awesome people, and I'm so excited about it. So thank you guys so much.
Yes. Okay. So you all are just giving me all. I've got so much energy right now. This is exactly what I mean. This is not just now. You're probably going to get other people reach out to you. because you're going to go on YouTube, and I'm so happy. I want to acknowledge one person in the room. Brittany Jones is an accountability coach, very much amazing, has services that you all can reach out to her. The information, I'll make sure that you all get her information. It is Brittany at bizstorming.net. You can reach out to her. And, if you need some accountability to get some things done, she's the one to talk to. Or if you have entrepreneur friends who need somebody to kind of hold somebody's hand through getting these things done, she's the one to talk to. I do want to acknowledge my co-director, Tiara Briscoe. Her business is T Briscoe Consulting. She is an accountant, a CPA, bookkeeper, and she is not feeling well today, so she was not able to show up. But I want to make sure I shout out her business, T Briscoe Consulting. And lastly, I am Erica Kesty. I am a love force with mysterious wisdom, celebrating life. I help individuals escape to their vision. Talking about vision, Janelle, the whole time I was thinking, yeah, she's talking about vision, because that's what I'm about. Help you escape to your vision. Sometimes you got to escape, man, because listen, it's hard sometimes to get to it, but I am all about that. I do that through coaching. I do that with business intensives, where I get people to come and spend time with them for a while to get some things done, do their strategic planning, and help them to be caught on fire for all of the missions they have on their plate. So thank you guys for coming. And just look for other programming that is going to come out, because we are going to have we have some new things coming up. Actually, next month we're going to have a community ambassador coming in. They're going to give us a community note. We're going to do the mental note, because I need us all to think about our mentality and how we're doing with ourselves as entrepreneurs. And lastly, we're going to have the financial note. So I just want to bring as much value as possible to this platform. So those are coming in, as well as the entrepreneur experiences that will always continue to happen. And we are planning on already thinking about the holidays and how we're going to get together and have fun. So I need to probably speak to you, Ticina, about the events. All right.
Yes.
Have a wonderful, amazing rest of your night. Thank you so much.
This has been beautiful. Thank y'all. And I definitely will be connected with both of you entrepreneurs. And Erica, I'll see you in the Facebook streets.
In the Facebook streets. And the Get It Done accountability.
And the Get It Done accountability streets.
I have a Get It Done accountability group on Saturdays at 9, baby. Come on. Yes. And if you need something done, I love it. I love spending time with people, networking, and them getting something done, making them feel real good and walking away saying, "Oop, I got that done. I don't have to worry about nothing the rest of the weekend."
Yes.
All right. Bye, you all.
Have a good one. Thank you.